Welcome back to another episode working on our Turbo Barra 80 Series Toyota Land Cruiser. If you've been following along, you would have seen previously that we've been having some pretty major overheating issues with the vehicle that we've been trying to diagnose, figure out what's going on and get sorted. So in this episode, we are continuing the diagnosing of the vehicle and it looks like we've finally figured out what's going on. Proudly supported by Opus, Ultimate 9, Superior Engineering, GME, Tyre Gear, and in part by... It started raining, so I just popped in the shed, but a quick recap on what's happening so far in regards to the vehicle. Basically just getting too hot all the time when it was under load. Easy cruising around town, it was all pretty fine, but there was a mixture of scenarios where it was getting way too hot, it didn't make sense. Definitely towing, any sort of hill driving, I just absolutely hated. In the previous episode, when we were doing some investigating, we did find it was breathing fairly heavy. There was a lot of oil coming out of the breather, and there was glitter in that oil, which is, metal breaking down within the engine. But we did compression test it and look through, look into the engine, do some diagnosing, and there wasn't anything too catastrophic going on that we could find. So that sort of ruled out a major engine failure causing heat issues. And then we put some fresh oil and coolants in it just to make sure everything was in tip-top working order. So since then, we did some more thinking, some more investigating. A lot of you guys gave us some tips, ideas, things we could look into, look out for. And so that's what we are going to be doing.
First up, we're going to start up with the cheaper side of things, a bit of diagnostics. This Falcon fan has about 4 inches either side where the air can't come straight through and it has to go through the fan. So I thought, it gets hot on the highway. I'm going to remove this fan because it shouldn't really be doing too much at highway speeds anyway. So I'm going to pull this off, go for a drive on the highway, see if the increased flow helps, because that'll tell us if it's a air restriction issue or a cooling system issue. Extra information just for context, this radiator was brand new with the swap. We haven't gone mud bogging. As you can see, it's spotlessly clean. It's also clean on the inside. The aircon condenser is also brand new and clean, and the intercooler is also brand new and clean. So it's obviously not a lack of maintenance issue. It's not going to be internally blocked because this is brand new. Everything's fresh, coolant, flushed. I literally hosed this all out the other day.
And this is a FZ 80 series radiator.
Correctly.
So, we could look into a bigger radiator maybe down the track, but, they are quite a big, good radiator.
I don't know what they are, but I know Ford from factory is a single core, thin, about the same size. This is at least a double core and about the same size. So the volume on this, I'm fairly certain, is much bigger than a Falcon's. So it shouldn't be a capacity issue, but lots of variables, mate, lots of variables. So I've got the fan shroud out with the fan out, just to see if that 8 inches of restriction either side is gonna affect highway temperatures, which I have a feeling it probably will. That's a fair bit of air to try and jam through a single hole. Warmed up the temperature, I'm 76 degrees. So if I sit in traffic, obviously with no fan, it's gonna heat up. But once we're actually moving at 100, that thermo should actually not be doing bugger all. It should just be flow. So that's what we're testing out now. So I'm currently at 80 degrees, just sitting here in traffic, slowly building, but I'm about to turn onto the highway, which is normally where it builds the most heat. So let's see if that builds.
You're back from the drive. You gather any new information?
Nah, not really. It cools itself without a fan on the highway, so I think for the highway towing and everything, it's not a fan issue. Around town, obviously, as expected, as I was cruising back, it got hot. It's currently hot.
Yeah.
That's what's beeping behind us. But I also wanted to wait for it to be hot before I did a TK head check, which is it checks for combustion gases in the radiator and cooling system, which will tell you if a head gasket's leaking. So now that it's hot, if it was cracked or lifted or anything, this would be the best time to check it because it's actually, working temperature. Everything opens up when it gets hot. Don't do this at home. It's very dangerous. At least we know the radiator cap's working too.
We're ticking things off, mate.
So another thing that people were suggesting is that fan going the right way? Like, is it pulling air or pushing air?
It's definitely pulling air away from the radiator, which that's what we want, isn't it?
Yeah, and if we look at this, that's getting sucked hard against that.
Yeah, so the fan's going the right way.
Correct. And it's pulling plenty of air through this, heaps of air.
Yeah.
You come feel that. Like on this side, not where the paper is. So now I've got the coolant down about halfway along this top tank so this doesn't suck it up. We're gonna put it on.
And how's that work?
You squeeze this primer, it sucks air through it. Mate, why you suck up for? It's got a little bit of coolant in it, but you can tell when it's changed.
So if it stays blue, it's good, but if it goes like a yellowy, greeny, it means you got a head gasket leak.
Yeah, which this cheeky little sucker keeps sucking up coolant, which is annoying me. I might have to take more out of it. Have a look how far down I've got it, it's still sucking it up. That seems pretty good, but
It's looking like the head gasket is fine.
Yeah.
Right, back to the drawing board. Next.
So I reckon we go for a drive now with the fan in, compare it to the original, no fan, do a little bonnet space and see if it's just a heat getting stuck in the engine bay. Right, driving out of Tyler's driveway 2.0. I've got the fan back in and I'm going to just do a comparison test before or after with the fan. And then once I get back from this, I'm going to space the bonnet so we can see if it's just an issue with heat getting out of the bonnet. An airflow issue with, you know, alternator relocated up high, high mount turbo, a forward facing plenum. They all take up a fair bit of the engine bay and don't give it too much room for the air to get out. So, you know, it's going to be much cooler in traffic with fan off. So thermostat's 71 degrees. I'm currently at 74. I'm also trying to see what the ignition timing is under full load to see if that has anything to do with the tune, whether it's making too much heat. It's got a full misfire currently, so back to the shed I go. It's like 13 degrees at timing, I think. Went for that little drive, misfired. Could be because we just gave it a little hose off, might have wet something. Or the plugs might be a bit questionable, so might have to go get new spark plugs.
So before we could continue with the heat diagnosing, we had to sort out that misfire. Cleaned out some water that was sitting on the coil packs, took out the spark plugs and checked and re-gapped them. Couldn't see too much wear and tear. Gap seemed to be good, so might have just been some water on the coil plugs. Took it for another test drive and wasn't misfiring anymore.
Next test is I'm gonna space the back bonnet hinge with a couple of little washer sort of things. See if that'll help the heat get out if it runs cooler.
So there's a gap there now where all that hot air, especially on this side where the turbo and that is, can come up out, and we'll see if that helps at all with it, you know, getting all the hot air out of it.
See how it goes, mate. See how it goes.
All right, so you're back from test drive number 9 or something, mate. There's been a few going down today.
Been all day, mate.
The bonnet spacing
Didn't
helped?
really help.
Didn't help.
Didn't
Useless.
really help. So we're gonna go extreme. We're gonna pull the bonnet off.
Yeah, and we're going to go for a drive on a private road,
Yeah.
of course, and see if that makes a difference.
John's private road.
Yeah.
Mr. John Oxley.
So that was the top comment on the episode where we're talking about the heating issues, was take the bonnet off and go for a drive.
Yeah.
So here we are, on John's place.
This will eliminate if it is an engine bay radiant heat issue.
So we're sitting at 91 at the moment, and we'll start, you know, putting some load on it and see if it still skyrockets. The other thing too is people said, is it a faulty gauge? We have 2 gauges and they both always match. So we have one like on the computer gauge, and then we have a JLP aftermarket gauge. So I don't think it's like just the one gauge being faulty. 93.
Normally be higher than that.
Yeah, okay.
How far do you want to go to John's house? All the way or halfway?
We'll utilise this whole road today.
fuck's sake, here we go.
What are people testing? Engine heats today. 95.
It's more stable. Might have to space it up more. Like if we can't even hit 100, it's a pretty big difference.
So, because this is the first time I've been on a drive here today. The other times to get on like hotter quicker.
Well, I fed it and then I fed it again. I would have been at 100.
Yeah, okay.
We only hit 92.
We've just been considering the tune as well, but Berto's been looking at the timing a bit of how it all, and it's timing about 10 at full boost, which is what it needs to be, because from what we've learned, any more than 10 timing would
Spin a rod out.
yeah, detonate this NA motor, but the less timing, the more heat, so it seems to be right on that balance. If we want more timing, we'll need a stronger motor. We're back, so at least we had some success with something on that run. What do we think now? Like, our options are, people have said put vents in the bonnet. Berto said he'll quit work here if we do that, and Demi also said it's not happening.
Yeah, mate, this isn't the 70s anymore, buddy.
A bonnet scoop we could do, but I don't want to do one of them either.
No.
So there,
No bonnet.
no bonnets.
No
Like, we try and space it higher at the back, get a bit more heat out.
We could try and space it higher.
I don't know, like, does that mean that probably is just a circulation, too much hot air getting trapped in here? Is that what we reckon? Or it just means that, like, it's getting so much airflow that's just cooling down whatever's causing it to happen?
Probably a combination of both. It's probably also air getting rammed down through and taking all the heat away.
Which leaves us with, what are we going to do about it? We're just having a bit of a chat. We're thinking definitely getting exhaust manifold and dump pipe and all that, like, ceramic coated and heat wrapped will help keep the heat down. Maybe making an air dam under the car to help, what's that do, direct the air up into there.
Creates a negative pressure so that the air gets sucked out. Currently the air hits the diff and then goes up into the engine bay. So the air, instead of trying to come out, it just goes up and everywhere.
So we'll do those two things, maybe trying to properly space up the back of that bonnet, potentially too. So I don't know, we just got to try and work out a way to get heat out of this engine bay. So we're going to put that on standstill for a day or two while we do some other stuff and then have a think and come back to it.
You reckon we just get a picture of the engine bay,
Yeah.
printed on a vinyl wrap, put it on the bonnet, drive around for a week, so then when we get pulled over, they go, oh, it's just a wrap, and then we pull the bonnet off.
Yeah.
And they'll think it's just got a bonnet the
Yeah.
whole time.
Yeah, we'll just do that.
Yeah. See, I'm all over it, mate.
You're onto it. It's the next day. I'm just filming on my phone because I don't have cameras set up, but we just reinstalled this bonnet that we had off yesterday, and now we've spaced it right up proper this time. So we got a heap of washers in under there, and there was also a rubber sealing bit there, so we pulled that out and at the front, so there's no more rubber sealing. And there's a big space up there now, so it looks a bit, looks a bit silly. But from the front, once you get up here, you don't really tell too much. Anyways, we'll just go have another play around with this now and see if that makes a difference with all that air that can get out. So it is a little bit of a cooler day today, so we can't tell for sure, but that seemed to make a huge difference. We couldn't get it to get hot then, like climb up like it normally does with, getting into it a bit on the highway. So fingers crossed, that has made a big difference. I don't know, it looks maybe slightly silly, but at least it keeps it from overheating. Anyways, we'll keep doing more stuff anyway, but I reckon that one's made a good difference.
Another day in the shed. So we've reached out to car builders, and the boys over there have given us their professional advice on what's going to be best to keep the heat down in the engine bay. We've ended up with a director heat pipe shield with a fibrous inside insulating layer which can withstand up to 1,000 degrees Celsius. That's what we're going to do for the dump pipe. For the 6-boost exhaust manifold, we have titanium header wrap. This is good for 1200 degrees C. You wrap it around, there's stainless zip ties, you zip it on. It contains the heat and prevents it from spreading to everything around it in the engine bay. So to start this off, I'm going to hook in, rip the dump pipe off, rip the turbo off, rip the exhaust manifold off, and we're going to get on into it. Woo! One dump pipe out, now move the turbo, get the exhaust manifold off. I'm going to start with the 6-boost manifold with the titanium header wrap. So this stuff is made from basalt fibres. I think that's how you pronounce it, I'm not sure. It's made out of volcanic rock. It's good to hold 1200 degrees C into it. Similar stuff they use in turbo beanies, so I've done a little bit of this before, but not a bunch, so I'm not a full 100% professional, but we'll figure it out together. So you want to wrap this as tight as you can, and you also want to maintain about 25% overlap for the best coverage. So there I've got the first runner done. So now I'm going to move on, keep going along, keep doing a few more. Bing bong, bing bong, bing bong, bing bong, bing bong, bing bong. I have some direct to pipe heat shielding from car builders. It's a, I don't know how you describe it, ribbed alloy sheeting with an insulation layer, and it's made to go directly onto the pipe and prevent any heat from coming through it. So that should really hold the heat in. So I really only need to do the top section of this dump pipe. This is down in the wheel arch. I'm not going to worry about doing down there. So we're going to start with up here, roll this thing out. I've got some contact adhesive spray. This is just to hold this onto that. It's going to melt off as soon as it's on the car and it gets hot, but that's fine. It just needs to do the job of holding this onto that, so it's easier to wrap this whole thing. My first attempt for this bend didn't work out very good. I've measured the inside, the outside, around it, and this is what I figured out. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't exactly know what I'm doing. I am going to make 2 of these and hope for the best. If it's not, I don't know. It's not the way to do it either. So, good question. No, I'm not, but this is about as good as you get. It's not beautiful. I don't know how the hell they try and make it wrap this. I did some protractor shit. Boom, so got the dump pipe, director pipe, the top section, the bottom section's down, all this section is in the wheel arch, so I didn't want to put that on it. It would have got wet, would have got ruined real quick. Also not as drastic to get the heat out of that area, so like I'm not too worried about that. Now, all 3 of those are done. I'm going to reinstall everything back into the car. I'll give you a look at it once it's all reinstalled. You don't want to see me put it back in for the 677th time.
Hope you guys are enjoying the episode. I wanted to quickly interrupt to announce the winner of an episode a couple of weeks ago where we did a giveaway of one of these awesome ECOFLOW units. So I'll put the comment up on the screen. Congratulations to Jason, who won himself a Delta 3 Plus. And then just a reminder that ECOFLOW do have their end of financial year sale running at the moment. So that's going to the 30th of June, where they have up to 45% off their range on their website. So we'll be running this one in the GQ for our Cape York Adventure, and this in the 105 series for our Cape York Adventure. But yeah, they're awesome portable battery box units. Charge pretty much anything you can imagine off them. You can also get a fast charge alternator connection unit thing with them. So they just run from your battery in your car to your quick charge unit, and then you plug that into the box and they charge so fast when you're driving, and then at camp for night you run all your power, all your accessories, all your different bits and pieces off them. Anyways, back to the episode.
So, it's been a few weeks since we've done anything to the 80 series. A couple of trips we've done. We've moved house. First job, new shed, new hoist. What are we going to be doing today, mate? We got finally the transcoil that we've been battling with. We have a nice bracket that Matt Kinsella made that's going to take this, bolt straight on, bolt straight into the car in a good spot, so I'm not making up crappy little brackets. We've got body mounts and we've got some rear springs.
So all these jobs we're sort of waiting to do because they were like, we're moving soon, we're getting a hoist.
I refused.
said I'm not doing it till the hoist is here. So
Yeah.
I forget where we're up to with this episode, but it's all about solving these heating issues, which the auto one kind of is, but the other two are just random jobs that we need to do. So we figured we'd get them filmed and slide them into the episode.
Hoist safety 101. Make sure they're in the right spot and you're jacking off a good thing. So, first job for the 80 series, rear springs. So when we put the trailer on it, it sits down a little bit too low, so we've got the exact same height springs, just with the next weight rating up. So we're gonna see how that goes. So, since we haven't got hoist support stands yet, big twisty ones hold the diff up, I'm gonna have to go down, undo the shock, pull the shock off, go up just enough to get the spring out, put the new springs in, so that's what I'm gonna do. New coils are all in the back of the car, so now I can come down, make it so I can get the shock back on, all done for that job. Heaps easier with a hoist. First job on the hoist is done. Now to move on to the extra transmission cooler that we're gonna run. So as you can see, we have the spare tyre, original spare tyre mount just here, which we don't use. We have the one on the vehicle. What we're doing is we unbolt that whole cross member out of there, and what Kinsella has given us over here, a couple of brackets and a long piece, this will all bolt down onto it. I'm gonna get that out of the car and I'll show you how it goes. I was talking to my mate Matt Kinsella, and I said, hey, I've got to put a trans cooler under the back of this 80 series. And he said, I've actually got a bracket for a water tank that fits. I could probably, if you get me some measurements, I can probably make it so it'll take a trans cooler. And I was like, yeah, that's a good idea, because that's a good spot to put it. So we removed this. This is the factory spare wheel holder. It mounts, 3 bolts on each side on the chassis. Matt, the wizard that he is, I've got 3 bits. So I've got these plates that bolt to the chassis, and then they've got 3 bolt holes, which bolts the centerpiece. This centerpiece has mounts the exact width apart and an opening for air to flow through it. So these are gonna end up, I've only got one. There's a provision for a second one if I need it, which I don't think I will. This is gonna bolt straight onto this, onto those, and sit up there in the protection of between the rear bar and the tow ball. Should be nice and safe. Should also get enough air that it makes a big difference. This is a much bigger and better quality trans cooler than the one we already have in the car. Let's see if these fit in the car with our accessories, i.e. rear bar, sub tank. There's a few variables that Matt doesn't know that we have, so hopefully it all fits together. If not, it'll probably only need slight modification. So if we line these 3 holes up, you can see that the rear bar fouls with this little tab here, which is an extra that I don't need. So I am gonna modify this. I'm gonna cut this off just here so I can get the 3 original bolts in, and then I'll be able to continue to mount the rest of this stuff. Slide him up here. That one fits up on the chassis. Now to get the other side all mounted, fitted up, and then we'll put it in, give it a mock up, and then we'll be able to get it all bolted together, run lines up to the transmission cooler that we already have, make some new racework lines. Hopefully we've got all the fittings, figure out what we need if we don't. So this is the brackets bolted into the 80 series. As you can see, it fits beautifully, looks beautiful. It's gonna have enough of an angle that the air's gonna get pulled down through it with the fan that's on this cooler. And while we're driving, it's also gonna have just passive airflow away from anything hot and give it a long enough time to cool down. So it's gonna be a lot better than what we have. Cooler's all mounted up on the brackets. Looks good, fits good, plenty of clearance. We've got to run some wires and some oil lines all the way up to the car. So I've got to figure out if I have enough oil fittings. I found a few fittings. Already got them on here. I am going to go grab some line that we have over there. Hopefully we've got enough. I'm going to run them to where they need to go on the transmission, and we will see how they fit. So, got pretty late yesterday afternoon, I went home. Cooler is mounted, so I've got first one rounded, 90 straight out. I've got a P-clip up here, you probably can't see it, but it runs all the way down to the front to the other cooler. Now this front one, I've got a 45 coming out. I've kept that rear tyre mount, so that bar there is to hold the rear tyre. I've kept that there for a bit of line protection. And then up in there, see if I can get some brightness up. As you can see, I've got line separators. So line separators hold it all apart, keep it looking nice and pretty, and that's what we're going for. Then we can come around, boom. So the original cooler's here. We go up and in just there, and then the other one comes all the way over, and up into the transmission just here. So they're special race line fittings, and as you can see, I've got separators the whole way along, keeping them all separated, keeping them looking nice. So let's move on to the next job. Next job up on the rack, I'm going to pull the rear bar off and the sliders so I can do some cab mounts. Next step in removing the cab mounts and replacing them. On this, I need to remove sliders, and to do that, I need to remove this section of the exhaust because the slider goes over it. So I'm going to unbolt this section of the exhaust, unbolt both the sliders, and then I'll be able to come down. I think I need to pull some interior out, get to the top of the bolts, undo the bolts, lift the cab up, replace the mounts. Annie sees all the bolts, put new ones in, put it back down, job done. It's probably going to take all day, even with the hoist. So let's get into it. So, as you can see, I've got the sliders undone off here, both sides. Front section of the exhaust out, back section of the exhaust out. Diff breather undone because it was run through here because I'm a dickhead. But yeah, you got to undo heaps of stuff to work on this car. It's not very fun, but what do you reckon, Debbie? What's it look like?
It's dirty.
Yeah, well, have you thought about washing your car?
It's not my job.
What about you, Mr. Thompson?
Mate, it looks like you're having fun over here. Good thing you got a hoist bar.
Yeah, I'm glad I've got the hoist. You know what I used just before too? Our newest tool, the stand, that thing over there. It's like an extra hand. So like instead of getting you, I just use that now. That thing's probably more useful too. You like that, did you? Next step in cab mounts is, I think half the bolts are under the carpet and they spin when you undo the bottom. So they're nut and bolt, they're not just like a stud. I'm gonna have to rip out the whole interior, carpet, seats, undo the bolts, and then we can lift the cab up, switch them in, good to go. Now that I've got the interior out, I've located the top of the bolts and I need to get them out, but some of them are 30 years old. Bit of salt, bit of corrosion obviously. They've been a bit stubborn, so I've got my nice SP single hex impact. Single hex is important because when they get really tight they can strip out. So I'm gonna see if this will get it out. We've got it out. That one's seen better days. We have 6 more to do. I already undone the back 2, I've already undone the front 2. We got 1, 2, 3, and then we're good to go. So now I have all of the cab mounts undone. I've left the bolts just poking through the floor. I'm gonna put the hoist up under the sills. I'm gonna raise the cab, and then I'm gonna switch out all the mounts, put it back down, do them all up. Hopefully it's that simple. Don't know if it will be. I think that's going to be high enough to get all the mounts. There's enough slack and everything to get the body that high without undoing too much. Wiring, water hoses, all that sort of stuff. So we've got one of the first of the old mounts out. As you can see, they're the same mount. This one is on top of that one, so that one's already compressed and squished and it's stuck down. The new ones are a lot higher. They're going to have a lot more squish and give, and they're just going to ride better. So these probably turned into like rock hard and sagged, where these are still soft and taller. Hello? Hello? Fucking piece of shit. No fucking sound. Take 2. All right, we are back after the long weekend, Easter long weekend. Sliders are on, cab mounts are in and done up. Next step would be to put the full exhaust system back on and make it fit a little bit better than what it did before. So I'm just gonna, you know, with the slop in the joints and the V-bands, I'm gonna bolt it together so it fits better than what it did, and hopefully that fixes all of our exhaust issues that we've been having.
Until the break of dawn, life cannot go by the letter.
Well, snap kicking ankle, I tell you. Rolled him, mate. So if I'm off in 10 years with a busted ankle, it's on that exact moment we've captured it. I'll take that. So I've just ran to town, got a little pump because the next job, I've done all the rear bar and everything, it's all on there. Next job is fill up the transmission because I've added all the lines and the transmission cooler, so we need a bit more volume of the special oil, and I had to get a little pump for it. So I've got Tyler here, he's gonna hop in the car, try not to f this up. I don't know if he's gonna be able to, but we'll sort it out.
No, I'll try my best.
All he's gotta do is sit in the car and put it in gear, that's it.
That's a big
Done.
ask for me.
Yeah, that's what I thought too, but here we are, we'll do it. Maybe make sure it starts, because it was flat, I'll have to get jump pack. So next up on this, I've got this fluid. There's a fill plug on the side of the gearbox. I need to pump that full until it starts coming out, which it is. So now I'm gonna come to the back of the car, make sure I've got fluid at back here, and then we'll be good. I've got this wired up, power and earth run from the relay for the other trans cooler, the other trans fan. I've got it running so it pulls air down and through it, so it'll come in from the top, and then when we're at high speeds, it won't matter about the fan, it'll still just suck down through it. But when we're crawling, it's gonna suck air straight down. It's gonna keep that nice and cool, especially back here where there's nothing really hot over here. The exhaust over there, but that's a long way away.
All right, I'll finish up that episode there. There was a little bit all over the place. That was filmed over a couple of months. Old house, new house, in between houses. Mate, we're currently in the shed here building the 105, getting it ready for Cape York. So we got a few things going on at the moment. But yeah, the heating issue on the 80, it's definitely been better, hasn't it?
It's definitely improved. It's improved by a fair bit.
I think we still need to maybe tow it in summer, sort of see how it goes under those extreme conditions. I think there's still 3 things we need to do. We're gonna get twin thermo fans for it, but we've just had a lot going on at the moment to worry about that stuff.
It hasn't been a priority.
Yeah, because it hasn't been a problem.
Yeah.
And we've still got to make an air dam for it to redirect the air.
Correct.
And maybe a 79 series bonnet.
Demi doesn't want that.
Yeah, maybe instead of having the bonnet spaced up, we'll just get a 79 series bonnet with a big hole in it that'll smash the air down it. And then we've got a list over here too for the 80. So the 4-wheel drive's currently not working, so we've got to sort that out. We've got to fix up the reverse camera, but yeah, twin thermo fans. And we're going to put new spark plugs and coil plugs in it because
it's breaking up a little bit.
it's still misfiring. I showed people in that episode it was misfiring, but then we sort of solved it, but now it's back again.
It's back again. So I don't know, either the plugs are breaking down, the coils are just like, you know, the ones that came in the car, they're like with it, they're not new. So they could be 20 years old, starting to fail, but we'll put them in there, and then if it's not, she's mate.
But yeah, getting there with it. You know, just those few bits and pieces ironing out after conversion, but we're slowly getting there with those heating issues. Glad that we are getting on top of it.
And aluminum perforated, it's not even perforated. It's just an illuminated, it's an aluminum